What's up, horror fans, and welcome back to another episode of Blood Brews. Tonight, I have a special guest with me, Reanimate Her, the queen of horror streaming. We're going to sink our teeth into one of the 1980s most definitive werewolf flicks, An American Werewolf in London. So grab a drink and join us for a howling good time. Okay, so welcome. Thank you for accepting my invitation. This is Reanimate Her, and tell us a little bit about what you do over on your channel, if you would.
Yes, first, thank you very much for inviting me on your show. I think it's really cool. I've been excited. I am a horror creator, content creator, so I do cosplay. I have two YouTube channels. One is strictly for horror gaming, and the other one is for unboxings, horror discussions, reviews, reactions to trailers. And then I do some live streaming on Twitch for showcasing indie horror titles like Texas Chainsaw Massacre that's going to be coming.
Awesome.
That's what I do in a nutshell.
That's exciting. That's kind of the reason I followed, because I saw that you did a lot of different things, and that's kind of like the same thing I do on my channel. So That's awesome. What are we drinking tonight?
I am drinking red raspberry. It's a juice.
Okay. Juice is okay. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
As you know, because this is Blood and Brews, we have to have a beverage of some kind. So tonight I'm drinking a beer called Melanoy. It's from Ghost Town Brewing. It's a New England style hazy IPA coming in at 6.7% alcohol by volume. And it has juicy notes of plum, mango, and Meyer lemon. So, yeah, it's very citrusy, and it's tasty.
It sounds tasty. It does. If I drank, it would be something I would probably try.
I'd give it a 4 out of 5 for it's easy and smooth.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so if it isn't obvious, tonight we're reviewing / discussing An American Werewolf in London. It was released in 1981, the same year I was born, so that's awesome to me. It's rated R, and it's a horror comedy with a runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes. Written and directed by John Landis, starring David Naughton, Griffin Dunn, Jenny Agutter, John Woodvine, and special makeup and effects designed and created by Rick Baker. That was a lot to say.
Some of those names are quite hard.
Right? Okay, so let's start off by asking you, because I like to put the plot into a bit of a question. If you and your best friend were backpacking across Britain and your friend is getting attacked by a large wolf-like creature, are you A, running as fast as you can, B, trying to fight the beast off, or C, yelling loudly, "Guess it wasn't Heathcliff"?
Well, I always judge David in the movie, like, because he hears his friend being attacked and he just like hightails it out of there. I would think if I'm backpacking, especially in an unknown area in another country, I would have some tools, maybe a flare gun or Swiss Army knife, something, and I would definitely try to help, but then probably realize that is a big mamma jamma of a wolf, and I would probably get the hell out of there because there's not much that I could do to get him off. That sounded really bad, to get him off of my buddy.
No, I completely agree. The size of that thing compared to like humans in the movie, it's huge. So,
Or even just a regular werewolf, like a werewolf, a regular wolf. That's a big wolf.
yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so what do you think of the slaughtered lamb? Is it a cool place to hang out? Or Are they just keeping way too many secrets?
Excuse me. Well, what's that scar on the wall for?
You made me miss.
Sorry.
I've never missed that board before.
Jack, we better go.
There's something going on there, right? That they don't want
Oh,
to talk
yeah.
about.
Oh, yeah. There is definitely something going on there. I think it would be a cool place to hang out and hear stories, and I would want to be involved with those secrets. I love werewolves. And so if I found out that there was like this taboo history of werewolfism and lycanthrope, I would be like, please bring me into that.
I want to know all the secrets for sure.
Yeah. How do
All
I
right.
become one?
So, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but on the gore scale, what would you rate this film from dry all the way up to slaughterhouse?
I like your sign. I would have to say it's probably pretty savage. I like to think of myself as a gore whore, and I pride myself on loving blood, guts, and ass.
Yes.
Um, and there is a wee bit of gore in there, especially with his buddy, and I would have to say it's probably pretty savage.
Okay. I was gonna go with bloody. It kind of leaves me wanting a little bit more, and
Yep.
because I love werewolf movies, and I'm always like wanting to see a werewolf scene where they show it all, right? And I know with
Right?
like practical effects and stuff, and just the way that things are, it's hard for them to actually show like a real, like brutal werewolf attack without going too heavy on the CGI.
Yep.
So I get it, right? But I'm always gonna want more gore. So yeah, I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
go bloody. What do you think the deal is with David's best friend Jack? Now he gets murdered by this ravenous werewolf, and is he a zombie? Is he a ghost? Is he a zombie ghost? I mean, what is he? He's like, it shows him slowly, like becoming.
Deteriorating.
Yeah, right.
I would say he's more of a ghost because no one else can see him, right? And he's always taken off before anybody else comes in. So every scene in the hospital, in the chick's bedroom, and the apartment, everything like that, he's always gone before anything, and he is deteriorating. And I know if you believe in the paranormal and ghosts, there are such things as ghosts deteriorating because they're stuck in limbo. So I would categorize him as a ghost that is stuck in limbo because he has unfinished business.
Wow, I didn't know that about them deteriorating like that. So that's something new to me.
Yeah, I watch a lot of different paranormal stuff.
No, that's cool. That's super interesting to me. I just haven't like delved into that as
Yeah.
much. Well, what did you think about their relationship and the way that he would come back and kind of haze David throughout the movie, and like it was almost like he was poking fun at him and giving him a hard time through the whole thing.
Can I have a piece of toast?
Get the fuck out of here, Jack.
Thanks a lot.
I can't take this.
Am I asleep now, awake, or what?
I realize I don't look so hot, David. But I thought you'd be glad to see me. David, you're hurting my feelings.
Hurting your feelings?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think he was. And I think, the first time around when he came back to haunt him, I think it was, okay, look, this is what's happening to me. And I couldn't imagine being in limbo as a ghost, as and not being able to move on to that next realm. So he was probably impatient. And who knows how time goes for ghosts? We'd have no idea, could this been, years or days? And the movie obviously is days, or weeks. But he does poke fun at him, but he also, you can see him get angry. Like, come on, how come you didn't kill yourself already?
No, exactly, for sure. I love how he brings the other, I guess, ghosts into the picture too, and they all are
Yep.
kind of like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, let's get on with this. You know what's happening." So,
Yep.
yeah, I agree with that.
And I think
No,
on
go for
first
it.
viewing, I think in the beginning, like when you first view it, you don't realize that you're thinking it's imaginary in his head, before you realize that these are actual ghosts coming back to see him.
Yes. I really like that. Even the dream sequences were really
Yeah.
cool in this film. I mean, did you know that I want to say Rick Baker plays one of the Nazi werewolves that attacks him and slashes his throat? Did you know that?
I did not know that. I knew the director Landis had an actual part in the movie.
Yeah. Yes. Did you know what part that is? I think he
It was
gets
to uh, I believe it was towards the end, the
he
head
goes,
chopping off.
"Oh,
Like,
okay."
no.
Then I was wrong. I thought that it was him getting pushed through like a glass window or
I
something.
know it's
But maybe
somewhere towards the end of the film. I just don't remember exactly where.
yeah. Okay.
I I know it was towards the end of the I think it was towards the end of the film. He looks like an extra or whatever. I don't know if it's oh, that's a good I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. I've watched that movie a million times.
Me too, since I grew up with it, right? So it's just like one of those movies that just
It is my
reoccurs
favorite
through the years.
werewolf movie.
Ooh, okay. What is your opinion of the werewolf transformation in this film and how they utilize the light where most movies would utilize the dark to hide certain things and make your imagination use, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what's your
I
opinion of this?
I love the transformation, and I grew up watching Wolfman, where they did the stop motion animation where they put the makeup on, right? And then you had the Howling that came out a little bit before this, which who did the makeup for the Howling? They only had a face transformation, which I thought was super cool. But then when I saw American Werewolf in London with that full body transformation, the sounds, the lighting, the makeup, the whole thing that he created, it blew my mind. And to this day, there is no transformation in any werewolf film that has beaten that. And I love werewolves, and I watch lots of werewolf movies.
No, I completely agree. You get lost in it. You believe it. Like, and
You do.
that's the thing with me and practical effects and why I'm such like I wouldn't say a hater, but I'm such a big fan of practical effects done
Same.
right because it's like you get lost in the movie. It doesn't like break you out of it as much, as like
Yeah.
bad CGI. You see CGI and sometimes it can kick you out of that lost headspace. So,
Yeah. The fact that he watched his hands,
oh
like
yeah,
he's looking at his hands and his hands are just doubling in size, and just you can see the sheer pain on his face, and it's crazy how he was able to show that pain, not really going through that pain as an actor, but you can see it on his face, the intensity of the music, that just the camera angles, the whole thing was gorgeous.
completely agree. So, do you like your werewolves on all fours or bipedal?
I like them biped.
Same,
I mean,
same.
they could get a lot quicker when they're like,
Yeah. Well,
but
as
they look scarier on two feet or
I
paws, whatever you want to call them.
I completely agree. I'm a huge fan of The Howling, and
Mm,
I actually think I like The Howling a little bit more than I like this flick because of the fact that it's like, to me, in my mind, it's scarier. It's creepier. It's got a
mm.
little bit more grit to it, and it's just I don't know. There's something about it. I feel like they show the werewolf a little bit more. So for me, it's
Yeah,
just
I would have to say that I think they do show the werewolf a little bit more. I mean, I've seen all the Howling. I own them all. But yeah, I think they do show the wolf a little bit more.
but also the opening scene was pretty creepy too. I mean, in that the shop and stuff. It's just like anyway. Okay, so back to American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got sidetracked for a
I
second
guess
there.
I'm bad at doing that.
What do you score this film, 1 to 10?
Oh, for me, I love it. So I really, I'm gonna have to give it a 9. And they give it a 9. It's my favorite werewolf film. It's the first werewolf film besides Universal Monsters Wolfman that I seen as a child. And it made me fall in love with werewolf films. I mean, I've seen The Howling, but when I saw American Werewolf in London, that was just like, oh, I love that. There's a few things and a few goofs and little things like that I can't give it a 10 on, but it's a 9 in my book.
Awesome. For me, it's going to be an 8.5, and that's mainly just to give room to, I'm hoping, something else in the future that comes out and like takes the place of Howling and American Werewolf in London in my
I don't
heart
know.
for me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
think it's gonna
know.
happen.
Everybody's into that CGI crap, you know what I mean? Like the remake Wolfman with what's that guy's name? I can never remember his name, the Italian guy.
Benicio del Toro.
That yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know? Where? I don't know if you've seen the movie Where,
I did see
WER.
that.
Another CGI. I don't know if they'd be able to make a werewolf film like the 80s with those practical effects with a sprinkle of CGI. Like, I mean, literally a sprinkle of CGI. And I think they might be able to, but I don't know. I think practical effects might be more expensive than CGI. I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure either. I kind of feel the same way though. I feel like they lean too heavy or too much into the CGI and it kind of kills it for me a
Yeah.
lot. All right. Well, can you finish this sentence and maybe explain for me why you feel the way you do about this? The way this movie blends a love story with a comedy with a horror flick is
Awesome. It's just pure awesomeness because I'm not much into romantic films at all. I was not made for romantic films or rom-coms or any crap like that. But you do get a little bit of that and a love story that you always want to see a happy ending in some sort, especially for the villain. And I love the fact that they did a little bit of a love story. And I love the comedy. I love the opening joke in the hospital where the nurse is talking about his, what's down there, and they do a joke about circumcision, and I was like, um, so I did like that. I like some of the comedy aspects in there, but I really enjoyed the horror aspect. And I think I made a very well-rounded movie. It had a little bit of everything in it. It had a little bit of comic relief in it, a bit of seriousness in it, and a bit of the love story for those people that like a little bit of that.
completely agree. I feel like that's another thing that can kind of kill like a action movie or
Yeah,
a horror movie is they go a little too heavy on the love story aspect at the wrong time and you're like this would not be happening right now. And
right.
then so no, I think they did such a good job. And even the friendship aspect of the
Yeah.
movie where Kim and his friend and they're dealing with that even after he's dead.
Yeah, I think it blended really well together. And the love interest scene, especially the first time or two times I watched it, didn't stick out as much as the horror. And you get when you watch it more, you actually see more of the comedy that this is based on and throughout it. I mean, I've watched this movie. I can't even tell you how many times I watch it, several times a year. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they did that. And you get to see more and you get to see more of the comedy involved in it as well.
Completely agree. So, what other movie would you pair with this film for a perfect double feature?
I would do The Howling with it. I mean,
Ooh, okay.
they're both good. I mean, unless you really wanted something a little different with the lore, I really liked Where. I really liked where they went with Where. So if you wanted something a little more modern and something a little old school to show the differences between the werewolves, I would say Howling, no, American Werewolf in London, and then Where. Or if you wanted both like 80s double feature, Howling and American Werewolf.
Yeah, I actually like that. That's probably what I would have said too. I didn't even think that question through very much before asking, so I was just like, man, what would I pick actually? So
What
yeah,
would you pick?
I know, right? I'm always leaning towards like maybe a Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's one of my other favorites. Like
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
love there's certain things that really bug me about it, but I also really love that film, you know. I feel like
Hmm.
it takes you on an adventure for sure. So that'd probably be my pick.
Ah, yeah. Definitely see that. Vampires and werewolves, they go together.
Yeah. Do you think that this film deserves a remake or is it better left untouched? I mean, I
Don't
know,
touch this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am dead serious. Do not touch this film. They tried to make a sequel to it with this American werewolf in Paris, and that was okay. But do not touch this film. There's like certain films you don't touch. You just don't touch at all. It's sacred.
I
No, no
completely
remake.
agree with that. Okay, good. We're on the same page as far as that goes. Um, okay, well, that went pretty quick. So wrapping things up, first thing you would do if you found out you were a werewolf.
I would definitely transform. I am one of those people that I don't want to be a vampire. I
Okay.
don't. I had no interest as a little kid being a vampire. I either wanted to be Frankenstein's monster or I wanted to be a werewolf. And today, to this day, I want to be a werewolf. I would I wanted to transform and be able to have all those senses and be able to be free to a certain extent and still be alive and still be able to have steak and all that good, yummy food, have a beer. Well, I don't drink, but, have some juice if I wanted to. Werewolves are the best.
Yeah, man.
I would be
I feel
happy.
I feel like we're both big, huge fans of werewolves just in general. So
Yes.
I completely agree with that vibe of the whole thing. Um, and yeah, you don't have to continue to drink blood to survive, right? You can
And
just
you're alive. So technically you can have sex still, like
exactly.
you're a vampire. I know True Blood and all of that made vampires have sex, but if you think about it, the body is dead. There's no blood flow, no
Exactly.
heartbeat. The heart pumps the blood to the body, right? If there's no heartbeat, there's no blood flow, there's no life. Werewolves are still alive, so you can still have sex everywhere you want.
I mean, The Howling has werewolf sex in it, so
And
that was
yeah,
funny to me.
that is right.
It's so weird and random, but yes. All
Yeah.
right. Well, again, this is the first time I've actually got it to this point, and thank you for being so like on point and concise with your answers. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And if we do this again, that would be amazing in the future,
I would love
possibly.
to.
Um, this is Reanimate Her. I will link her page down below where you can find her and her different links to different things. Thank you again for watching, everyone out there, and have a good night.
Bye.